Veil of Valor. A Bond Unveiled. The Bennett estate glowed with warm lights, a beacon in the crisp evening air. Tonight was special. Nathan Bennett was bringing his fiancée, Sophia, to meet his family. In the corner of the grand parlor, Martha stood quietly, her hands clasped tightly. Her gray hair was pulled into a neat bun, her apron crisp despite years of wear. She'd raised Nathan from infancy, her gentle hands guiding him through life. The door swung open, and Nathan strode in, his smile wide and proud. Beside him walked Sophia, tall and striking, her eyes glinting with a sharp edge. "Martha, I'm home," Nathan called, his voice bright with excitement. "This is Sophia, my fiancée," he added, gesturing to the woman at his side. Martha stepped forward, her smile warm but tentative. "Hello, Sophia. I'm Martha. I've cared for Nathan since he was a boy," she said, her tone soft and sincere. Sophia's gaze raked over Martha, her lips curling into a faint sneer. "So, this is the nanny?" she said, her voice cold and cutting. "An old woman still clinging to this house. How quaint," she added, her words dripping with scorn. The room stilled, a hush falling over Nathan's relatives gathered nearby. Martha's shoulders dipped slightly, a flicker of hurt in her faded blue eyes. Nathan laughed awkwardly, touching Sophia's arm. "Come on, don't tease like that." Sophia shrugged, crossing her arms. "I'm not teasing. I'm just surprised. A relic like her still hovering around? It's almost pitiful," she said, smirking. Aunt Clara, Nathan's sharp-eyed aunt, coughed loudly to break the tension. "Martha's not just a nanny. She's family," Clara said, her voice firm. "Oh, how sweet," Sophia replied, her tone mocking. "A servant playing family." Martha said nothing, her hands smoothing her apron, her silence a shield. "Dinner's ready. Let's eat," Nathan said quickly, trying to shift the mood. The family moved to the dining room, the table set with gleaming silver and crystal. Martha started to follow, but Sophia's voice cut through the air again. "She's eating with us?" Sophia asked, raising an eyebrow in disbelief. "She always does," Nathan replied, though his voice wavered slightly. Sophia scoffed. "Really? I thought servants ate in the kitchen." Martha paused, then took a seat at the table's edge, her presence quiet but steady. A young maid, Lily, leaned close to her. "Don't listen to her, Mrs. Martha." Martha offered a faint smile, but Sophia's barbs didn't stop. Throughout dinner, she tossed out jabs, each one sharper than the last. "Strange to see an old nanny still loitering here. Doesn't she have anywhere else to go?" Nathan shifted in his seat, discomfort plain on his face, but he stayed silent. "Martha's more than a nanny. She raised Nathan like her own," Clara interjected, glaring. Sophia smirked. "Raised him? Yet he's soft enough to keep her around." "You're being harsh," Nathan said weakly, his eyes darting between them. "Am I?" Sophia shot back. "I'm just pointing out the obvious." Lily's hands balled into fists under the table, her loyalty to Martha fierce. Clara tried again. "Let's talk about something else, shall we?" But Sophia ignored her, sipping her wine with a smug air. Then, in a swift motion, she flicked her glass, splashing red wine across Martha's blouse. "Oops," Sophia said, her tone dripping with fake surprise. "How clumsy of you." The room froze, gasps echoing as the stain spread over Martha's chest. Martha trembled, her hands gripping the table, but she didn't speak. Nathan stared, his fork clattering to his plate, his face a mask of shock. "Oh, Nathan, why keep someone so useless around?" Sophia said, laughing lightly. Clara slammed her napkin down, her voice icy. That's enough, Sophia. Sophia shrugged. It was an accident. Don't make a fuss. Martha rose silently, bowing slightly. I'll clean up, she murmured. She left the room, Lily trailing after her, fury burning in her eyes. In the kitchen, Martha dabbed at the stain, her hands shaking slightly. Don't let her get away with that, Lily hissed, her voice trembling. Martha sighed, her smile faint. It's not my place to judge, Lily. But Nathan, he just sat there, Lily said, her anger spilling over. Martha looked away, the sting of Nathan's silence cutting deeper than the wine. Back in the dining room, tension hung thick, the air heavy with unease. Clara turned to Nathan, her eyes hard. Do you think she's right for you? Nathan took a sip of wine, avoiding her gaze. It's just a misunderstanding. Sophia smirked, unfazed, as if she'd won some unspoken battle. Outside, Martha stood in the garden, the night wind cold against her damp blouse. She'd given her life to this family, yet now she felt like an intruder. The stars above glittered, distant and indifferent, mirroring her isolation. Dinner ended in strained silence, the family retreating to their corners. Nathan lingered in the parlor, replaying the night, unease gnawing at him. Sophia's words, Martha's quiet exit. His silence loomed largest of all. The next day, the estate buzzed with preparations for a welcome party. Friends and relatives gathered, eager to meet Nathan's fiancée. Martha worked in the shadows, setting tables, her presence unobtrusive. Sophia held court, radiant and confident, charming the guests with ease. A friend, James, grinned at her. So, Nathan's finally tying the knot? Yes, Sophia said, her smile sharp, though some old baggage still lingers. She nodded toward Martha, who was arranging flowers nearby. James frowned. What do you mean? Oh, you know, the outdated nanny who doesn't know when to leave, Sophia said loudly. Laughter rippled through her circle, though some guests shifted uncomfortably. Martha kept working, her face calm, though her hands faltered briefly. Lily, nearby, snapped, She's not just a nanny, she's family. Sophia laughed. Family? More like a dusty heirloom. James shook his head. That's unfair. She's a good woman. Unfair? Sophia said, smirking. I just call it as I see it. Nathan stood nearby, his jaw tight, but still he said nothing. The party rolled on, the mood souring as Sophia's jabs grew bolder. Martha, more wine, Sophia called, holding out her glass. Martha approached, steady and quiet, pouring with care. Sophia jerked her hand, and the wine splashed again, drenching Martha's skirt. Oh, how careless, Sophia exclaimed, her tone mocking. You're hopeless. The room went silent, eyes darting between Martha, Sophia, and Nathan. Martha stepped back, wine dripping, her dignity intact despite the stain. Nathan's hands clenched, his face pale, but he remained mute. Lily surged forward, furious. You did that on purpose. Did I? Sophia said, smirking. She's just clumsy. Clara stood, her voice thunderous. Sophia, you've gone too far. Sophia waved her off. It's just wine. Relax. Martha bowed slightly. I'll change, she said, turning away. Nathan watched her go, a storm brewing in his chest, guilt choking him. James muttered to Clara, Nathan's letting this happen. Unbelievable. Clara nodded, her eyes piercing Nathan. He needs to wake up. In the quiet of her room, Martha scrubbed the stain, her movements slow. Lily burst in, tears in her eyes. Why don't you fight back? Martha's voice was soft. Anger won't change hearts, Lily. But Nathan, he should have stopped her, Lily cried, fists clenched. Martha paused, her eyes distant. His silence says more than words. The party wound down, guests whispering about Sophia's cruelty. Nathan sat alone, the weight of his inaction pressing down. Clara approached, her tone sharp. "Happy with your fiancée?" "I didn't mean for this," Nathan mumbled, staring at the floor. "Then why didn't you stop her?" Clara pressed, unrelenting. Nathan had no answer, his mind replaying Martha's quiet endurance. The next morning, the estate felt hollow, its warmth drained. Nathan sought Martha, finding her in the garden, tending roses. She didn't look up as he approached, her hands steady among the thorns. "Martha," he said, his voice rough. "Are you all right?" She nodded, her smile faint. "I'm fine, Nathan." But her eyes held a quiet sorrow, a distance he hadn't seen before. I'm sorry," he stammered, the words clumsy on his tongue. Martha met his gaze, gentle but firm. "Sorry changes nothing without action." Nathan swallowed hard, her words sinking deep, exposing his failure. "I don't want you to leave," he said, desperation creeping in. Martha sighed. "This isn't my home if I'm not wanted here." "You are wanted," Nathan insisted, his voice cracking. "Then why let her treat me like that?" Martha asked, her tone piercing. Nathan froze, shame flooding him. He had no defense. Martha turned back to the roses, her silence louder than any rebuke. That evening, Sophia lounged in the parlor, chatting with her friends. "This place is grand, but it's cluttered with relics," she said, laughing. Her friend, Claire, smirked. "Like that nanny." "Exactly," Sophia replied. "A pitiful old thing. Nathan's too soft." Nathan overheard, his blood heating, each word a spark to his anger. He strode in, his voice low. "We need to talk, now." Sophia rolled her eyes. "Later, I'm with guests." "No," Nathan said, grabbing her arm. "Now." He pulled her to the hall, her friends gaping, the air thick with tension. "What's your problem?" Sophia snapped, yanking free. "You mocked Martha again," Nathan said, his eyes blazing. Sophia laughed. "So what?" "She's nothing." "She's everything," Nathan shot back. "She's my family." "Family?" Sophia sneered. "A worn-out servant?" Nathan's fists clenched. "If you can't respect her, you don't belong here." Sophia's jaw dropped. "You're choosing her over me?" "Yes," Nathan said, his voice steel. "Pack your things and leave." Sophia laughed, incredulous. "You'll regret this." "I regret ever letting you in," Nathan replied, turning away. He found Martha in her room, folding clothes, a suitcase open. "Martha, don't go," he said, kneeling before her, his voice raw. She looked at him, surprised, her hands stilling. "I told Sophia to leave," Nathan said. "I was wrong. I should have stopped her." Martha's eyes softened, searching his face for truth. "I've been a fool," he continued. "You're my family. I can't lose you." Tears welled in Martha's eyes, but she smiled, a real one this time. "My boy," she whispered, touching his cheek. "You've found your heart." Nathan grasped her hand. "Stay, please." Martha nodded, the rift between them beginning to heal. Sophia didn't leave quietly. She threw a final party, defiant and loud. Guests milled about, but the mood was forced, her charm fading. She spotted Martha serving drinks and smirked, raising her glass. "Still here, old woman," she called, loud enough for all to hear. Nathan stepped forward, his voice cutting through. "Get out!" Sophia froze, wine glass trembling in her hand. "You heard me," Nathan said. "You're done here." Sophia flung the wine at Martha again, a last act of spite. But Nathan moved, shielding Martha, the liquid soaking his shirt. "Leave," he roared, his fury unshakable. "The engagement's off." Sophia staggered back, her face pale, the room silent with shock. You'll pay for this, she hissed, but her threats fell flat. Clara ordered the staff to escort her out, her belongings already packed. Martha stood behind Nathan, her eyes wide, his protection a balm. Sophia's downfall was swift. Society turned, her name tarnished. Guests spread the tale of her cruelty, her status crumbling to dust. She tried to call Nathan, to beg, but he blocked her, unmoved. Meanwhile, Nathan rebuilt what mattered, starting with Martha. One evening, he gathered the family, raising a glass in the parlor. "This is for Martha," he said, his voice steady, "the heart of this home." Applause filled the room, Martha blushing, tears in her eyes. "I failed you," Nathan said to her, "but never again." Martha squeezed his hand. "You've made me proud, Nathan." The estate warmed again, its soul restored by loyalty reclaimed. Years later, Nathan gifted Martha a cottage, a quiet haven she dreamed of. She stood in its garden, smiling at him. "You didn't have to." "Yes, I did," Nathan said. "You gave me everything. I owe you this." Martha hugged him, her heart full, their bond unbreakable. Sophia faded into obscurity, her arrogance her only companion. But Nathan and Martha thrived, a testament to love over pride. If you like this story, please give it a like. Subscribe to our channel. Your support keeps us sharing tales like this. We're so grateful. See you soon.